Hey everybody, this is Meg, aka Electric Meg. And I just wanted to make a video about some of the things that are happening right now. Um, you know, I come from a family of people who were doctors, medical industry, and teachers, and really intelligent family. My grandfather was like the last of the country GPs. He did a lot of home births, and he would go to people's houses at 3 o'clock in the morning and get paid in cabbage, that kind of a thing. And when he retired around 1980, he said to my family, the way the medical industry is going at this point is not about healing, it's about prescribing. And so it was a warning to my generation to not go into the medical field because it was the intentions were wrong. The concept of health had changed so dramatically from, when he and his father were both surgeons, came out in the 1900s, right? So, I began to, pay close attention. He was my doctor, of course, when I was a kid. And so as I became an adult and I had to get my own doctors, I just found that people were very greedy. Like there was no warmth. There was no person-to-person connection. I couldn't find a doctor who cared. And as I know now, it's because it was just like an assembly line, right? So you have 2 minutes with a patient and get in and go out, no questions, no nothing. And if you go in there saying, oh, this is wrong with me, you're gonna get something for it. So if you go to a doctor saying, oh, could you find out what this is, they will find something wrong with you. Anyway, the medical industry has become a monolith of fraud. It's built on Rockefeller built this entire medical system because they forced him to disband Standard Oil, right? And so he had to find a way to use his petroleum. So we went from earth-based medicine to petroleum-based medicine. That's fundamentally what all of this is about. And of course, really, there's no reason for us to ever have gone to a petroleum economy. Hemp would have been a much better, on every level, it would have been a much better economy than the petroleum economy. But here we are. So what's happening now is that we are going into the final stages of the implementation of Agenda 21. 1992 UN resolution adopted by 173 countries around the world, so it's legal, right? And basically what they want to do is they want to take away all of our rights. This is all, it's written in doublespeak, so you have to kind of see what they've done. You have to do your research, look at what they've done and compare it to what the intentions are, and you find that what they do has nothing to do with what their intentions are, or what is written, their written intentions. So it's just doublespeak. It's complete Orwellian gobbledygook. So here we are. I heard a lecture in college which basically outed the deep state. This is in the 1980s, mid-1980s. And I've known about it ever since then. 9/11, just like everything came into full view for me, I realized that this is how they do stuff. This is how they accomplish their goals. So after 9/11, of course, we have Homeland Security and take off your shoes at the airport, and which has never, ever, ever, ever stopped any kind of terror in the skies, right? But we go along with these stories. After 9/11, I played in Union Square. I played trumpet to thousands of people, and they were ringing around the fence, and I was in the middle of the lawn, and I just played and played and played, and I thought to myself, I hope that some of these people realize through the emotion of this event that it is a controlled event, that it is meant to instill terror, it is meant to instill fear, because fear is by far the most powerful mechanism for being able to control people, large groups of people. So here we are in fear after 9/11, and we allow Homeland Security to go forward, right? And but we believe in our democracy, and so we can't believe that the people who we elect would ever do us harm. Well, they've been doing us a lot of harm for a long time. They don't care about us. They don't care about our health. They certainly don't care about our freedoms. And this is literally the final step in the implementation of Agenda 21. When we allow ourselves to become injected with vaccines, when we do not exercise our right to say no in that, we are giving up our last freedom. And that it is such a huge issue. It is so huge, and there's so many intelligent people, much more esteemed than I am, who are talking about this. Dr. Shiva out of MIT is just like, he is just brilliant on this. But Bill Gates is a Satanist. And as is Fauci, as is the Clintons and the Obamas, they're all Satanists, they're all Luciferians. And there's different factions of that. But, yes, the whole, what do you call it? Sacrificing babies to Moloch, that kind of a thing, drinking baby's blood, and the adrenochrome of staying young through drinking the blood of young people. So if we continue to allow the progress of Agenda 21 to be implemented, then we all become Satanists ourselves, become the victims, really, in a Satanist world, but completely enslaved, completely mind-controlled, zero freedoms to ever have free will again. And so that's one side of what's going on. The other side of what's going on is the quantum. And the quantum is all about frequency. Everything is a frequency. So if we give into the fear, then we become a part of the fear problem. But if we choose to not allow fear into our consciousness and just emanate love, then there's a whole other reality that's available. And this is what it's taken me a long time to come to this realization, but I've seen it in my life. I've seen how changing from fear to bliss can allow for the most exceptional things to happen in your life. And, this is a lot of me coming out of my, abusive relationship. I've just had time to decompress and, realign my understanding of the world. And I feel like right now is one of the most extraordinary times in entire human history, because through the power of intention, we all have the ability together to circumvent this devilish plan, this Moloch turning the world into Satan's playground. So I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. I don't follow any religion. I grew up Christian, but I really, I believe that I am connected. I am a part of the divine. I don't need an interpreter. And I think that that's where we all are headed, is that we all have that ability to connect to divine wisdom. One of the parts of these vaccinations is that will remove your connection to the divine, and that's fundamentally what they want, is that, we don't know that we are creatures of God. We are facets of the most extraordinary energy. And so I encourage you to do your own research. Please, don't live in fear. Don't give in to, recognize when you're being played. Like, just begin to look. Like, oh, look, everybody's wearing a face mask. Oh, I should wear a face mask too. Are you a sheep? Are you being smart? What's the real truth here? From what I'm seeing, the numbers of people dying is only slightly elevated from the normal numbers of people who die every day. And yet this has been made into this false pandemic that is meant to literally reshape our society so that we become slaves. So as a extreme individualist, I urge you to do your research, please. Go study Dr. Shiva, go study Robert Kennedy Jr. His work is extraordinary around vaccines. And there's so many other people. And I will always be updating on my timeline more information as it comes by. I've been researching this since the 1980s. I've worked on Wall Street, I've worked in Goldman Sachs, I've worked in every department of Goldman Sachs. I know how it works. I've saw from the inside how evil this world really is, and I walked away from it, and I've really not made any money since then. And it's like, okay, that's how my life has to be. I'll be, not in the system, but I'll be learning how to prevent the worst from happening, and that's whatever small contribution I can make to society, So, you know what? Happy April. It's snowing, but it's beautiful, and I hope that you're really doing well through all of this. Please engage your creativity. Please engage your love for life. Please engage your intuition and realize what game is being played with us right now. Thank you so much. Love to everybody.